Hello, my midnight friends. I decided to start my first video right away with a powerful theory that may surprise every reader of the Fangs of Darkness. What if I told you Uильям Эго is the disguise of the robot Энидиgo? Yes, it sounds crazy. Who would have thought that some William, a supporting character, could turn out to be a robot? But, I think, this is his huge secret, which the author promises to reveal in the yet-to-be-published book Poisonous Blood. Therefore, let's not delay and take a closer look at this character and reveal all the pros and cons. Let's start with who Энидиgo is and how he came to be. Lewis Daley, a character in the first book, The Secret of the Mask, died as a result of falling from a height onto a rebar. A midnight named Space landed on top of him. And underneath was the robot that Lewis had once created and nicknamed Энидиgo. At the moment of death, the human's blood mixed with Midnight's unusual blood and it obviously got on the robot. Thus, when everything coincided, time, place, and blood mixing, Lewis's soul moved into a mechanism that looked more like a black skeleton. So we got a robot that houses the soul of a man resurrected by Michael's soul. Mike is our Space, who doesn't know. And now we have a crazy robot that most likely started the genocide of the Midnight Ones. Plus, it also has a piece of the soul of one of them. A combo. As it became known from the book The Golden Flame, Lewis decided to make himself a disguise in order to look more like a human. And for the development, he took the drawings of Michael Radu. The ones that Mike used to make Rachel's robot. And this robot contains Agatha's soul, which is a slightly different story. Michael may have shown the same drawings to Lewis in the first book. And also, perhaps, we could observe one of them in the book Shadow Rabbit. These drawings show how a humanoid android should transform into a mechanical Midnight. Plus, how exactly to make a realistic human appearance. At first, I thought that this disguise would be the character with black eyes that Jason noticed in the second book. But it turned out to be Tom. He's just a man with a piece of Michael's soul. Yes, Mike is throwing his essence around. But, at some point, I noticed Uильям Эго. He appeared in the first book for literally 2 chapters and didn't really pay much attention to himself. In the second book, he was a minor character who helped Jason and Bruce. But in the third book, The Broken Ones, he appeared very often. And he did very strange things. And all the characters who were there reacted to him as if William was the fake Midnight. And he was very confusing and frightening to everyone. So, I'll even give arguments in favor of my theory. First, in Peter's dreams, in the third book, Энидиgo appeared. And what caught my attention was that he had 3 pairs of tentacles. And now look at the image of the fake Midnight, which is William. How many of these appendages does he have? 6. You'll tell me it's just spikes or something. But no, in the same book, when Eugene kidnapped William, our red-haired guy used his tentacles. They are elongating and very mobile. Second, what almost all the characters talked about was that William was too unusual. As Christopher and Peter said, Will's soul is so different from theirs that he should rather be considered a fake Midnight. Pete even said, to paraphrase for clarity, you're the same race as Midnight. But you are not a part of his soul. I also want to remember what Bruce said about him. He is a stranger among his own, and his own, among strangers. The third. He transforms too easily. Some Midnight Ones, who have pure blood, can transform from a human into a monster. And this process is extremely difficult and painful. People grow extra bones, they enlarge, they lengthen. Organs move, everything crunches, the skin stretches. In general, the sight is not pleasant, as well as the sounds it makes. And the bottom line is that Peter noticed how easily William transforms. Too quiet and pain-free. And that's very strange, don't you think? The quadruple. Remember, I said that Lewis at least has a piece of Michael's soul. So, this is related to my next discovery. Because in the third book, Michael felt a part of himself in William. Of course, he thought Will was his illegitimate child. But I think otherwise. Fifth, physical strength. William easily defeated one of the strongest Midnight, literally with one throw. Well, he also broke the table with one blow. Sixth. In the first book, it was mentioned that artificial red hair was found in Michael's laboratory. Jason and Peter immediately noticed that William's hair was too unnatural. From which I dare to assume that it was then that he left a lock of his hair. Seventh. William knows Michael well. At the same time, Mike himself cannot remember who this guy is, as he has not met him before. Of course, you might think that Will is just the brother of one of the children Michael killed and that's why he hates him so much. Eighth. He knows Sam and affectionately calls him Sammy. Just like Lewis used to do. The ninth. When he first met Sam, he knew that Michael's soul was in him. We can understand this from his words from the third book. And how did he figure it out? Maybe because he's a midnight? Or maybe there's more to it than that. Michael's soul is in him. For example, 10th, he has a clear hatred on Michael and the fact that he is in Sam's body. Especially when it was said that it was done in order to humiliate Lewis. I can't believe he just hates resurrected serial killers. The 11th. He looks like an exact replica of Eugene's late wife. And it appears in his life exactly exclusively after the genie was attacked by Энидиgo. There, the robot could see the photos and simply copy Kate's appearance from them. There is speculation that he may well be Eugene's second son, who died in childbirth altogether. But he kind of didn't die, somehow. 12th. Chris, who can definitely read any emotion of midnight, couldn't see it in William. Which is no longer related to the fact that Will is kind of midnight, but at the same time, nothing midnight affects him. No poisons, no chains, nothing. It's very strange, and now my arguments have come to an end. After all, there is one inconsistency that spoils everything. Namely, Peter's dream, where Энidиgo kills the fake midnight. I do not know how to replay this. But still, let's not cross everything out right away. We can think about what trump cards Lewis has if he is William. And how his actions can affect the characters. And why is everything somehow more logical if Will is an Энidиgo? For example, their apparent love affair with Eugene. Michael, Gene's brother, hates any same-sex relationship. And if Lewis intended to insult Mike like that, then this is a very correct approach. It wasn't for nothing that William backed with Eugene around Michael. Will asked Christopher about Patricia. Patricia is Lewis' sister. He wasn't just angry when he found out she'd been murdered. William's Midnight Inn, called Midnight, exploded. And it happened under very strange circumstances. And a lot of people with the blood of darkness died there. And we remember that Lewis is most likely exterminating the Midnight Ones. It makes sense. That's my theory. Next, I'd like to think about who Michael's illegitimate child is. And also more about the strange murders that Lewis is suspected of. Thank you for your attention, see you later.